What's up? What's up, everybody? I'm sorry, my throat, my voice is gone, but I'm going to try. This is Tea Time with Robyn, and Robyn's here. What's up, Robyn? How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm good. My voice is a little gone, but I'm here.
Well, we'll try to keep it going. It's good to see everybody. Just want to say, yay, go Bills, that we beat Miami, and on to the next, right?
On to the next. What's it? Just win, baby. Just win.
Exactly.
I don't care how you do it.
Let's talk about that Miami game a little bit.
Let's do it.
First of all, what did you think?
Look, Josh has got to clean it up. When we go into a game, we know Josh is going to be Josh. But we can't have these fumbles and these interceptions. We know he's going to do what he normally does. He'll run the ball. He'll throw the ball. All that's great. You have to play clean. He had me. My voice is gone because of Josh.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. He got sacked 7 times. And that was noteworthy to me. First of all, let's go back and acknowledge, Miami has a very good defense. There was nothing wrong with their defense. Their defense was solid, and they played a solid game. Now, the blitz, and we talked about this, the blitz was crazy, and it was a good strategy by McDaniel. Really, he had to disrupt Josh in whatever way possible. And they did, to a certain extent, they were successful. And you and I have talked about this. These teams know each other. They're division rivals. This is the 3rd time, they've met in the season. And I think it's fair to say that when a team knows another team that well, you probably should just go ahead and ignore whatever the spread says in Vegas.
13 points.
Ridiculous.
I was like, okay, I get what you guys are doing here.
I don't gamble, but to me, that's money.
Yeah. And we lost a turnover battle. So if you had told me we lost a turnover battle and Josh was sacked 7 times and we still didn't win this game, I'd be like, you're crazy.
Exactly. My doggy. So these teams do know each other. So the Bills, they did enough. They won. Okay. Yep. What I liked seeing was our run game progressing, at least in my view, in terms of they're learning how, to run behind this O-line, and the O-line, was moderately effective. We talked about this. I'd love to see James Cook involved a little bit more with some screen passes, or get him out in the open, swing passes, whatever it takes. And we don't see much of that, and we didn't see much of that. But you can certainly see where James Cook is going to grow into being a feature part of the offense, as he should, in my opinion.
Yes, and we spoke about this earlier about the screen game and how I personally don't think they just have the guys to do it, but I would love to see it because I think it's an element that they're missing out on. They could have that also as, play caller. They could have those plays. Right. I just think if they had it, it will help Josh out.
Oh, definitely. But I also wonder if that isn't some of Josh as well.
Right.
Everybody jumps on Ken Dorsey, but Ken isn't on the field. Right. He's telling Josh what play he wants to see. But of course, and he said this over and over again, I defer to Josh because he's on the field. Well, Josh needs a little bit of
reeling in
a little bit, because you see the bombs that he throws, like to Gabriel Davis, and you see what he can do with that rocket arm of his, which is wonderful. But sometimes you have to give what the defense, allows you. And I would like to see Josh be more mentally disciplined that way, in terms of not always looking for the killer, home run. Uh,
I can honestly say I've never seen Josh throw this many down the field passes. Like, it was a lot
it
this
was.
game. And I get it because he was being blitzed, and I don't know, it was just a lot. It was a lot.
It was. And you can see also, I made note of this. You can still see that what happened on the field with Damar Hamlin is still carrying some weight,
Mm-hmm.
um, with these guys, and you can see it in press conferences. The tone, you see it on the sidelines. Usually in a playoff game, you got people just lit on the
Right.
sidelines, and they were very focused, as they always are. They were very focused, but I'm not seeing the looseness, the kind of swagger and the looseness and the, you know, slapping butts kind of thing, like they talk about. I'd like to see them get back to that a little bit more, but I also understand that they're going through a process mentally, and
Mm-hmm.
and I think that process is still ongoing.
Yeah, I'm with you there. You can. It's not like last year where you would see the guys dancing and just having fun, and like you said, being loose. You don't see it.
Not
Because
yet.
of what happened. I
Mhm.
mean, uh, I don't know. It's a lot of pressure on them, I think, to win
There
because
is.
I think they're the better team.
Well, they are, and Josh knows that the window of opportunity is open. And
Yes.
here we sit on the cusp of the divisional, championship. And I'm thinking, win this game against the Bengals if you can. And then you just have two games, and maybe the mental math works a little different in their heads, because it seems, it's pretty daunting to think about what you have to do from this point forward to win a championship.
Let
You
me
have to
ask
be
you.
all there.
You put it out there. If, and I'm not saying that this is going to happen because I see them moving past Cincinnati. If anything besides that, is it a letdown this season?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely, because in my opinion, I mean, we saw the hype before the
Mhm.
season started. They were declaring, the Bills the winner of the Super
But
Bowl.
also too, Robyn, we had Vaughn.
Yes,
So
yes,
is it a letdown because you know what I mean? We don't have that guy, and I
yeah.
know we picked up pieces. So is it a letdown because we didn't move past a position where we were last year, and we went and got pieces, but those pieces are not playing?
Exactly. Hopefully, those pieces are going to have some mental input, in preparation and so on. And Vaughn has
Right.
talked about that, being a coach in the room, and that's going to be a necessary part of this. But I absolutely see this. If the Bills don't beat the Bengals, in terms of a letdown, absolutely it will be a letdown, because the expectation has been going in that they were going to win a Super Bowl championship this year. And they
Right.
were almost set up by the media for that, because everybody was saying it.
I hate that.
I don't like it. It's like there's a lot of other really good teams, but
Right.
there was an emphasis on how the Bills have the talent, the Bills, it's the time,
But you
and
do all this, right? And you see everybody dogging the Buffalo Bill, like Chris Sims, I think his name Sims, is out here dogging the wide receivers. I'm
yeah.
like, you were just on their team. Like, you've interviewed Josh, you did all this, and now no one's scared of the wide receivers. Like, what? What are we doing here?
Well, I hope they just keep on talking about that way,
Right.
because Gabriel Davis may have other decisions to make in that regard. And look at
Absolutely.
what Gabe Davis did. He's a postseason maniac.
Woo.
He's on fire,
Playoff game.
and even Josh acknowledged, okay, he didn't have a great regular season. He did not. He dropped a lot of passes that were critical, in games, and he did not have the kind of season that many of us, including myself, expected him to have. But if he wants to get on fire in the playoffs, I'm down with that.
I think we're all down with it. Expectations, though, is a mother freaky because us as fans, we have expectations of this team, and then when it's not there, we're disappointed. But
that's kind of why I was uncomfortable before the season started with talking about, Super Bowls and all that kind of stuff, because you just know when you're old enough that there's too many variables that can happen
right,
along the way, and
right.
I was just uncomfortable with all of that. But that being said, if the Bills don't advance further in the playoffs, I do think it will be a disappointment.
Okay.
This team was set up. Brandon Beane, Sean McDermott, they talked about, the process, if you will. Well,
Yep.
the process is here. Josh is a mature quarterback now. He's a veteran quarterback in the NFL. He's a franchise quarterback in the NFL. We have the pieces in place, and now it's time to move forward.
Yeah, and like you were saying, because we went from process to humble and hungry, right? So, and like you were saying off mic, are they hungry? Are they humble? Where are they?
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. So next on our list, because I'm going down the list,
Uh-huh.
we decided we wanted to talk about the rookies.
Yes.
And I think that's awesome because they haven't been getting enough attention in a year that's been pretty weird. Uh, I'll start out. I want to say to the world, the podcast world listening, this narrative that we have around Kaiir Elam in the media, in terms of him not living up to expectations and so on and so forth, I think is a bad narrative.
Yeah.
For one thing, cornerback is a very hard position to learn. And it's
Absolutely.
extremely hard to learn when you go from that jump from college to the NFL. Some positions like running back, you hand them the ball and they go. Okay, that's pretty much what they have to learn a lot. I'm digressing, but
Right.
point. And I think with corners, we have to be patient. They have to learn the process of playing in the NFL. And with Elam in particular, it's my understanding that he played mostly press coverage in college and
Yeah.
didn't play zone. Well, our defense is zone heavy,
Yes.
and it takes a while to learn that, to learn how to do that. So my bottom line is I think the narrative is bad. We saw with that interception that he got against Miami what he's capable of doing, and he's going to do that. And I think he's going to be a wonderful corner opposite Tre'Davious White,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it takes time.
I mean,
And
he had a great. I think he had a great game against Miami. Like you said, he had a ball knocked out against their tight end. He played well against Waddle and Hill. So press man. Sometimes we do play man. Sometimes he is on. He was stride for stride
oh
with
man,
Hill.
he
He was
was.
stride for stride.
There was there was no shame in his game
None.
whatsoever. So the other thing, the next point I have is that James Cook. He's another one. He is a rookie. I think he's just starting to find his groove a little bit,
Yes.
and learning how to run between the tackles.
Yep.
And, you get him into open space and you are not going to catch him. You are
No.
not. He is
You
so
seen
fast.
it when he hit the second level.
Yes.
When he got behind his blockers and the second level, I said, no one's catching him. And he ran it in for a touchdown.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, I think our rookies are, the big time rookies that we've been looking at. I think they're doing very well. Both of them. Did they come out of the gate on fire? No, but not a lot of rookies do.
Right,
It's not,
right.
it's a real unusual rookie who comes into the NFL and seamlessly makes the transition. And at corner, I think that's really difficult, especially if the defense you played in was very different from the one that
Absolutely.
you're playing in the NFL. So that's what I have to say about that.
Kyrie is going to be fine,
Yeah, he
along with Tre'Davious White. I'm not moving on from next year, but give him a year, he's going to be fine.
Yes, and Tre'Davious, since you mentioned it, Tre'Davious is coming back to being who he was.
He's trusting
Everybody's
himself now.
a little bit more each game, a little bit more each game, and it's nice to see because if there's a player on the team that I have a soft spot for, it's Tre'Davious.
Yeah.
Because Tre'Davious he's an old soul. And if you listen to him talk, he's very wise.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up in adverse circumstances that he overcame. He gives back. He's a very spiritual person, and he's very sensitive.
Very.
We all saw how he reacted when Damar Hamlin went down, and he was really suffering.
But he expressed it too, though.
Yes. And when Mitch Morse put his arms around him, that for me was like a sight, like, wow, I'm going to hold that in my heart forever.
Right.
Because Tre'Davious he's a kind, sensitive soul.
Yes.
And plays like a Tasmanian devil, when he's on the football field, he does. So I just had to say that because I got a soft spot for Tre'Davious, and it makes me feel so happy to see him back and starting to become his self again on the football field. It's just
finally, like I think everything is coming together. I just wish we had. Could you imagine? Just for a minute, Vaughn and Micah Hyde.
Micah, I talked about that, before. Yes, we miss Vaughn terribly. But again, my hope is that his presence on the sideline is at least going to partially be helpful, to the team in terms of giving Greg Rousseau and Boogie Basham a lot of support. But yeah, yeah.
Did they say that Micah Hyde wasn't playing?
No, I think Coach McDermott ruled him out the other day for this game, which I was depressed about because I thought he was going to be ready. But maybe they're holding him for championship or, Super Bowl if they make it that far. I don't know what the deal is, but I was sad about that because I talked about this last week. Micah Hyde, I think he might be one of the most influential players on defense in terms of the mindset.
Right.
Getting everybody in
where they're supposed to be.
Mindset. Yes. Where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to be doing. And his presence on the field will be a big lift for the defense if it happens.
Yes.
I just wish it was happening in this game.
I know. Me too. I do.
But I will also add that Dean Marlowe. Yes, people.
You see the number he had on, right?
Yes. Yes, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that, and just one of the many things I love about you. So, and I could say that because I'm an old and I get to say what I want. So.
Stop.
Stop. And that's the way that I feel. Now, moving on, we decided we're going to talk a little bit about what the Bills' identity is. So we're midway through the playoffs. We've seen this team all season. What are your thoughts about who are the Bills, Steve?
That's why I posed it, because I have no idea. Like, I know we air it out, right? I know that. I know Sean McDermott wants a two-dimensional team. He wants to also rely on the run game. He wants to air it out when he can, but he also wants to run the ball. I don't know. I don't know. I know we've gone through so much this year. I don't know. That's why I posed it, because I am. Help me out, Robyn.
Well, this is where I could babble all day long. The identity of a team is forged on a number of things, I believe, just as you're talking about the structure of the team. Are they pass oriented? Are they run oriented? All of that. At this point in the season, it looks like it is very similar to what Daboll did. The passing game was emphasized. The running game kind of supplemented the pass game. All of that. That's the structure. Now, how this team was built mentally in terms of their identity is clear to me that this team is forged by adversity.
Okay.
Because they have just gone through so much, and this will go back, and I'm going to bring it up again. This will go back all the way to Kim Pegula, because
Yes.
Kim and what happened to her that we still don't know, God bless her,
Yes.
what her status is or whatnot. It's in the back of all of our minds, is it not?
Yeah.
She's a face of the franchise. And then Dawson gets gobsmacked, when his brother dies right before the season starts. And that's huge. And you could see that it took a toll on everybody.
Yeah.
At the very beginning of the season. Then, even before that, you want to talk about the shootings, that happened. Did that affect the team directly? No. Did it affect the team indirectly? Absolutely, yes. Because they are the heart and soul of Buffalo. You and I have talked about this.
Right.
The team and the city, the team
takes on an identity. Yeah.
Yes. And so they carry that, they carry that with them. So they have that. And then they have snowstorms and have to move around. And then DeMar, it just has been one thing after another for this
Merv.
team. Yes, Murph. Oh, yes, Murph. And, we don't have any updates, about Murph and how he's doing. And so all of this comes together, and it sort of forms the backbone of this team, right? This is a team, okay, you know what? We've had it. We've been punched.
Right.
We've been sucker punched.
But also, too, don't take it as oh, look at us. It's never that. It's never that. It's always, this is what's going to happen.
That we can thank Sean McDermott for, because he sets the tone and totally takes the lead when it comes to that. And you see that. I have evidence, to substantiate what I'm saying. If you look at whenever there's an altercation on the field or something's happening on the field, who's the first one off the sidelines? Who's the first one in the middle of a fight trying to break it up? McDermott. You see it all the time. You don't see a lot of coaches do that. He runs right into that. So that identity as, look, you're not going to mess with us.
Right.
Right on the backbone of Sean McDermott. And he sets the tone for that, in my opinion.
And this is why I think he should get, and I don't know if he'll get it, Coach of the Year, because I think Brian Daboll may just run off with it because of how he's coaching his team. But indirectly, it's Buffalo.
I don't know that I haven't thought about it that much, but I can't remember a year when there's been this many head coaches that I think are really legitimate candidates for Coach of the Year. And I think absolutely Brian Daboll, but at the same time, which coach has gone through more?
But don't they do the Coaches of the Year and MVPs prior to playoffs and stuff? I want to say they do.
Sure, if that's like chosen then. I'm not even sure how the selection process is.
Gotcha.
How it goes. It's the media for one.
Yeah. For
You know,
sure.
so like go, take that with a grain of salt. That's why
Yeah.
all these awards and stuff, they don't mean a whole lot to me, personally, because I think it's like there's been a couple of times I think McDermott could have been coach of the year.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, the first year that they went to the playoffs, that was like miraculous that he
Yeah.
took the team with that.
But he was selected, right? He just didn't win.
Right. He's
Yeah.
repeatedly, he's almost always on the bridesmaid list.
Gotcha.
Um, so that's, kind of how that works. But their identity, getting back to that, I think this team, their window of opportunity is here. Everything they want is right in front of them. And
I
they know,
agree with that.
they know this. And you work so hard. You'd hear them talk about it. They work so hard in training camp, and they go through this long, arduous season, and they're beat up and they're tired, and they're stressed out, and then all this other stuff that's happened to the Bills. That's a lot on their plate. But I think, again, if they can get past the Bengals, I think then they can find the joy in their heart again.
Yeah.
Right now, I think it's a job, and they're focused, and it's like, we have to do this. And that's what the way they should be.
Well,
If
this
they,
is why Gabriel Davis was on the jug machine for an hour
yeah,
yesterday.
and
You know.
this is why I think if they can beat the Bengals, then I think the joy can come back into their hearts. It's like, okay, let's go.
Right.
'Cause
Right.
that's what I would like to see the Bills be able to do. Get back to that. Come on, let's go.
Right.
And we'll see, won't we?
We will. A very important game coming up on Sunday at 3:00 on CBS. We got the same crew. Lord have mercy.
Well, it's going to be interesting. And because it's in Buffalo, I'm very confident that the Bills will get their best game out on the field because of the fans. The fans are a huge difference in a playoff atmosphere. And we remember that from the 90s, when there were years when everything ran through Buffalo. And
Right.
it makes a huge difference.
It
I
definitely
just
does.
hope weather. I haven't even looked at the weather
You know
forecast.
what? The last I checked was on Tuesday. It was supposed to snow, but I haven't checked again. I know it's not supposed to be. You know what? I haven't checked. You know what? Let me see if I can check here.
Give it a check, and I'm wondering about wind. If that'll be a factor. If wind is not a factor, then snow certainly isn't going to be an issue for the Bills, and probably not for the Bengals either. I mean, they play in an outdoor stadium in
Yeah.
a city. I don't expect that to be a problem.
Well, I am not seeing anything about weather.
Well,
You know what? Let me look here.
I think the Bills are going to be okay.
Yes.
And no matter what the weather is, the big question is, if there's wind, is Tyler Bass, going to be able to kick field goals? He's getting to where I think he knows the stadium pretty well.
Okay. So it's going to be 63 with
63?
I'm sorry, 36. Jesus. 63, that's great. Snow showers and 36.
Okay. That's doable. That just means maybe a slippery ball, but
Right.
these guys can handle that. They've gone through much worse.
Not really wind, light wind.
Good. So I don't like it when wind's a factor in a game, only because it tends to neutralize both teams, and you don't get to see the best football under those circumstances usually. But we shall see, won't we?
We shall see. We shall see. So let's talk about this upcoming game and Joe Burrow against Josh Allen for the second time, if you want to count the first game.
Yeah. How much do you think the first game and what they did in the first game is going to be carried over into this game, like scheme-wise? Do you think they're going to do the same thing? In the first quarter, it worked.
Yeah. And the first 15 plays are scripted. So
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if you could. I think they come out. I think the Bengals will come out and do the same thing because the Bills didn't stop them. They just went down the field and touchdown, boom. So
Yeah,
if anything, I think the Bills will change.
yeah, the Bills are, we see this with Leslie Frazier's defense, the bend don't break thing,
Yeah.
and that's all good, but it gives me heartburn when it kind of does, when they just move the ball down the field to the 20-yard line and then their defense kind of tightens up. But I think it's going to be hard no matter what way you look at it. Good Lord, they have three wide receivers that would be stars on any other team.
Yep.
Three of
Yep.
them. Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins are a nightmare.
They are.
And Kaiir Elam, and the backfield's going to have their hands full.
Yes.
And they're going to have to play. They're going to have to play their best.
They
And
are. They are.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying their defense is good too. I mean, they got Jesse Bates, they got Michael Hampton, so they got
Sam Hubbard.
Yeah, they got DJ Reed,
and they have Logan Wilson.
Yeah,
is their secret sauce.
Yeah.
The linebacker from Wyoming.
Oh, really? Okay. But I'll say this. If our running backs could get the second level, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about Logan. No disrespect, Logan.
Yeah, I feel you. But Logan played on the same team with Josh, so Josh knows him very well.
Cool.
And I have to give my plug to the Wyoming kids.
Hey.
But yeah, I would love to see the Bills run the ball effectively. If they can run the ball effectively, everything else will fall into place.
I think they put a spy on Josh like Miami did. Miami had spied Josh the whole game.
Yeah, well, Josh knows what to do when he has a spy. He can sometimes wiggle his way out, and then there's trouble. So it's a high risk, high reward strategy, but we'll see.
No, for sure. No, we definitely will.
Yeah.
But I totally think this game is going to be won in the trenches because we need our front four to get some pressure. I mean, I don't think they should blitz because, listen, boy, Joe Burrow is there.
All out fast.
Quickly. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how you can blitz that guy.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what difference there is in how they come out versus how they did in the beginning of the game that started before DeMar went down. It's going to be very interesting to see. And, there may be a difference in strategy based on the fact that they're playing in Buffalo too. Who knows?
Right.
But
the Ravens played them well, though.
Yes. And again, that game, there was a lot of talk about the Bills being they didn't play up to par against Miami. They only won by 3 points. Well, the Bengals didn't have a bang up game against the Ravens either. So,
yeah. So we're coming to this game where both the teams didn't play well. So,
exactly.
I mean,
Cincinnati's won 9 games straight, and the Bills have won 8 games straight. So somebody's going to have to lose.
Yeah,
I vote for Cincinnati.
Yeah, we're pulling for Cincinnati, the Bengals, for sure. My throat is on fire.
Yes, we should be done.
You got any more?
Nope.
Any more? Okay.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
I enjoy this so much.
Yes.
And I hope that we can do this again soon, like next week with a W.
Oh my God, Robyn. When we get this W, it's done. We're Super Bowl bound.
I feel good about it. This is the hump that we have to get over, though, and mentally as well as physically on the field. So we'll see.
We definitely will see.
Wish everybody a really good weekend, and I hope you get well soon.
Thank you so much because this is crazy. I can't stand. You know, I know. Yeah, whatever. My voice is gone, and I got another podcast to do after this. So yeah, it's gonna be.
Save your voice.
I'm about to drink some tea.
Good.
Thank
Good.
you.
Love
This
you.
is love you too. This is episode 7 of Tea Time with Robyn. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna
Go
go rest my
Bills!
voice. Go
Yes.
Bills. Peace, y'all.